Hey man, I'm gonna be honest. It seems like Joe Biden is in a really good position right now. I'm not even gonna lie. I made a video not too long ago just talking about the poll numbers, but it's not even just that I'm seeing with this race. It's something I've seen since the very beginning of Joe Biden's campaign. Joe Biden, he has this superpower now. He has the same superpower that Donald Trump had in 2016, where nothing sticks to this man. Man, he is untouchable when it comes to scandals, gaffes. I mean, this is the worst Joe Biden that we ever seen. The worst one we ever seen. Um, Joe Biden was kicked out of the race in the 80s because he was caught plagiarizing speeches, and then he was lying about plagiarizing speeches as well, right? So in the 80s, that just showed the kind of standard that that was held at Washington, because they understood, even though politics was just as dirty, if not more dirty back then, they understood that you had at least maintain um, at least an aura of decency to at least to continue to trick the masses. Now they're so bad, or I guess they are propped up by massive bootlickers to the point where they don't have to even maintain an aura of decency anymore. And this is something that we seen from Trump and MAGA, and that will make MAGA so different from anything we ever seen out of the Republican Party. Is just the complete disdain for decency and unity at all, right? And that won him the election in 2016 in the massive referendum to Obama, the Democratic establishment, and neoliberalism. They would like you to believe it's Russia and it's because Joe Stein or whatever they used to deflect, because Bernie Sanders didn't do enough to help Hillary, even though he did over 30 events for Hillary Clinton in 16, and she's still complaining. I'm so happy that she gonna die bitter, that she will never be the first female president. It's never gonna happen, and I love that she's gonna be bitter forever because of that. Um, but this superpower we see with Joe Biden now is that I think Democrats have faked us a little bit. I think they adjusted for 2016 a little bit more than progressives gave them credit for, because maybe they was head faking their resistance towards Trump, but they learned a lot from Trump. And one thing they learned from Trump is that you never ever abandon your boy, and they learned that pretty solidly. If you look at uh, Joe Biden, not even just Joe Biden, it's the people that they still continue to support. It's just their ideology is never abandon your boy. I mean, Howard Dean, they canceled him in a second for screaming awkwardly. Like back in the day, you can get canceled for anything. Joe Biden got canceled a few times. I remember in 2008, he had the quote where he said Barack Obama is really well articulate, and it was like really racially tone deaf the way he described Obama. It was kind of like he was saying that Obama was one of the good ones that got through. That's why it's good that we have Obama. And he was canceled pretty quickly after that, after saying that. And he never caught steam in 2008 as well. You just seen Joe Biden constantly launch campaign after campaign, and he never caught fire because there was a higher standard. Even if you want to criticize the policy of the Democratic Party, which I think you should, they at least had a little bit of standards. I mean, the Clintons lowered it as well. I think Bill Clinton lowered it in the '90s, but it was still there. It was still enough to disqualify Joe Biden before, but it wasn't enough to disqualify him this time around. So that's something that we've seen as very troubling. Is going to be very hard to deal with, and one part of this is the media complicity is in this election was completely different than was 2016. And in 2016, we learned from WikiLeaks and Julian Assange and the DNC email leak that there was massive media coordination around the Hillary campaign, and that's why They Piper Trump to the top. I mean, so there's always that there, but at the end of the day, the media was still at least. I remember there was a lot of liberals at the time that were mad at whenever there was email storage came up and they would ask Hillary about the emails. So they at least asked Hillary about some of her scandals. They had people on that talked about Benghazi and stuff. With Joe Biden, man, there was just straight blackouts. Tara Reid wasn't discussed on mainstream media in like 3 weeks after she first came out, and Joe Biden constantly was lying on the campaign trail about his civil rights record, about being arrested, protests in South Africa, and it was like constant lies from the Joe Biden campaign. And the media not only not covered it, they played offense with it as well. You had all these candidates in the race, and all these candidates polled well against Donald Trump. If you go back to like last summer, and they had all the candidates in the race, almost all of them was being Trump in the polls. But the media was constantly pumping out the narrative that Joe Biden was the most electable. And this is what the media does. The media will they will create a narrative, pump it out repeatedly, and then they will act shocked when the public will repeat that fact. Like they will have a poll that come out and say, "Hey, a new poll that says Joe Biden the most electable." Well, the reason why the American people think that is because you guys been pumping it on your airwaves, giving him millions of dollars of free advertisement, saying that he's the most electable when there was no evidence that he was. I mean, over anyone else at least. I mean, he always did well against Trump. Bernie Sanders beat Trump 4 years straight in polling and did extremely well in polling independents. But what's going on currently in society is a strong referendum on Trump. And that's why Joe Biden really high in the polls, and you can see that because they showed Joe Biden unfavorability ratings, and he's underwater. I think he was like -19 in one of the polls I saw earlier. Trump is underwater as well, but the combination of COVID, the economy, and the fact that he's just generally divisive, and that's a big part of it as well. And this is something I mentioned before, and Trump has ran a horrible campaign thus far, and it speaks volume not to Joe Biden. It speaks volume to the fact that Bernie Sanders will put this man in the graveyard, man. If he was the nominee, Trump would have got crushed, man, because his attacks are so weak. His brain is so broken, and it's easier to do what Trump does as the fire-breathing attack dog going after the establishment with nothing to lose. Because in 2016, Donald Trump was the challenger, and 2016 was a referendum on Obama. It's always a referendum on the former president. And that's what helped Obama get in office when the 2008 election happened. We got the first black president because there was such a massive referendum on George Bush. And we've seen the referendum on Barack Obama when Donald Trump was elected. And now in 2020, we're going to see a massive referendum on Trump. And Trump thinking that he can fight this culture war, taking the side of the police state. I think he jumped the shark on that. I don't think he handled that right. COVID-19, I think, really hurt his chances as well. And a lot of people say, "Hey, that's not Trump's fault. That's not Trump's fault that happened." Hey, dude, a wise scumbag said you never let a tragedy go to waste. I mean, can you imagine if Trump did a $2,000 a month UBI? Not even $2,000. Let's say Trump did a $1,000 a month UBI, and he did a Medicare for all for people who had COVID. Not even full Medicare for all, but Medicare for all for people who had COVID. If he did that instead of leaving people starving, like me, he could have won this election by a landslide. So Trump choked this election away. He's panicking. You can see it now with his tweets. You can see it now with his actions. His media team is great. They make good videos. It's pretty funny. But the boomers that they need to win this election are not watching those videos. Right? That's what you gotta understand. And Joe Biden is beloved by boomers because of this mentality that we're not gonna ban their boy, and the boomers are obsessed with watching CNN and MSNBC, which once again prop Joe Biden up massively. So this is what we had to deal with. How were we supposed to beat Joe Biden? Because Blue MAGA is so loyal to Biden to the point where he had a very valid rape accusation levied against him by Tara Reid, and it led to him not addressing that properly. They deleted their Me Too tweets. The people in their campaign, their media advisors, they deleted their tweets backing up Christine Blasey Ford, who Tara Reid has more corroboration than Christine Blasey Ford, who I believed, right? Because I'm consistent. But you have people that turned on her who was strong feminists for the Me Too movement, like Alyssa Milano, all their agents taking Me Too out of bios for Joe Biden. So it's a combination of those things. It's a combination of the fact that Donald Trump has ran a horrible campaign, and that Blue MAGA adjusted to the times, and they realized that they have to be cult like, just like Trump supporters, which they learning now that Bernie Sanders supporters wasn't cult like, because we don't listen to what Bernie says necessarily. Like, we are quick to go against Bernie Sanders if you say something wrong. I still believe that Bernie's an ally. We just got two different strategies, and he played a different role in this game. But I disagree with Bernie on a lot, and I'm not afraid to say that. But Blue MAGA now knows that you do not abandon your boy, that you do not abandon Joe Biden. So that I just want to talk about that, because that's it's something that's been on my mind for a while. Because before this whole COVID-19, if you asked me what would happen to Joe Biden and Donald Trump, I was saying that I think Trump was going to beat him, because I think Trump he would trick the boomer base and the suburban moms that the economy was doing really great. Joe Biden on his own would depress the progressive turnout, the turnout minority, the Latino base as well. But now I think things changed. I think Trump choked, and I think Blue MAGA created an aura of invincibility around Joe Biden. So I hope you guys kind of enjoyed my breakdown. And I do have to make a shameless plug, because my Patreon is live. But I'll link it in the description. I hope you guys enjoy these videos. I'm trying to get more consistent, and I got a few plans I've been talking to people to try and increase the quality of my content. So I know we're going through rough times. I am as well. So if you have it, I always appreciate the support. But if not, it's okay. It's all good. I just appreciate you watching my video. Take care, homies.